120 some hours on now. 140 some, 150 hours almost.
That's good. We've only run it about, what, a month, Chuck, at the longest?
Russ, why don't you stand over here a little bit so Virgil is just fine.
No, okay.
We just need
I'm
Royce
not going to be on camera.
We just need Royce a little closer to the lens, so.
You don't have to
Don't look at that. Don't forget it.
You can look at me or look past me towards these guys back here. Try not to look down too much at the ground, you know. Kind of try to keep your head up so we can
smile a little bit.
Ready? Hey, Virgil, could you explain to us what kind of business you're in and what you're doing on this job here?
My business is Fitzpatrick Contractors, and we do all the landscaping, clearing, excavating, and so on for mud-bone development. And we do all types of different kind of work. And you can see around what we do most of the time. And this is how we make our living.
How would you explain your overall impression of the machine so far?
The machine is in good conditions, all except for a few little odds and end points that need to be pointed out to people and redesigned. On the blade, there's a few objects that need to be changed, and the winch needs some work done on it. It's just little minor things. Overall, it's good, but you got a few little nicks here and there that needs to be readjusted.
Here's the 650G. You mentioned the blade. What do you think of the blade power?
The blade power on it is weak. You got that knuckle joint on top, and it's designed wrong. The hose covers is not right, and you got the knuckle joints on your cylinders on your jacks are good, all except you need to redesign the packing on them. The packing is all falling out of them.
Have you noticed you run prior John Deere trawlers, 450s. Have you noticed a change in the angle power or tilt power on this one?
There's quite a bit of difference between the 650 and the 550. It's got more power, and it climbs slopes better, and it handles good. It's got a good balance to it. With the blade tilted back on it, it cuts real good. If you're pushing uphill, you have to tilt the blade forward in order to lose your dirt off. If you don't, it'll gather up on your blade, and you take the same amount down you take up.
You mentioned stability and balance. Could you comment more on that on the feel, the ride of the machine?
The balance is real good on the machine. On the slope, it climbs real good. It handles good. It's got good power. The steering clutches are a little rough on it, but other than that, it's in good shape. It balances out real well. It'll outclimb a 450 or a 550 either one on a slope.
How about the power shift transmission?
It's going to be fine. The transmission shift kit on it will be fine once they get the notches in it to where you can tell what gear you got it in. The way that the shifting pattern is designed on it now, when you come around the U-turn with your shifter, you're all the time hitting in between the gear that you want to hit in. And it needs some little slots in each side to tell you which gear you're in. And when you come around, you can feel it and it'll stop you. The way it is now, you make the circle, you're all the time going in between the gear, and it catches you for just a second before you get the gears back on it. But once they get that part fixed, the gear pattern will be nice on it. I like the way the gear pattern's set up.
You've had some of our older 550s with a torque converter in it. What do you think of this 4-speed power shift versus the torque converter?
To my knowledge, the torque converter type transmission is a better type than the standard drive that I call it, like this, because you're so much smoother with a torque converter type transmission than you are a direct drive. You can ease up against stuff. You can idle it down and not lose your power off your hydraulics, or your machine won't stall out on you. The way it's designed, the 650, if you decelerate behind the load, you're going to lose it. The engine will die out on you, and that's not not a good situation in our territory because we have a lot of slope work. And if you're pushing up grade and you need to deaccelerate, then you've lost it all. You have to start over again. But it will be all right once you get used to operating the machine. It'll be fine. But myself, I would prefer the torque converter type transmission on it.
Do you think the 4 speeds are enough, and how do you think they're matched to ground speed with the hydraulics? The hydraulic speed of the dozer.
The torque, the 4-speed transmission on the machine is all right. But still, I would prefer a torque converter type over the standard drive. To me, it's a lot smoother.
In the operator's compartment, you sit a little bit higher than you did on the older models. Any comments on the operator's compartment as far as the controls, the other controls, and also visibility?
The seat in the machine is real good. I like the way it feels when you're sitting in it. You're up above everything. You can see down good on it. You got a good instrument panel in your dashboard that'll notify you where the gauges went before. People have a tendency to look over a gauge when you got a flashing light. It'll catch your attention a lot quicker than a gauge. But as far as the seat and the steering clutches and everything, they fit real good. I like the way it does. The only thing that I can see that I wouldn't like on it is the safety neutral handle. And I'd like to see them redesign that some way, because that's a lot of trouble every time you get up and down. You have to shut your engine on or start it up. You have to move that out of the way. If they just had a switch up there in front with a flapper on the inside of your shifter column there, it had to be in neutral to start, it would be a lot better, I think.
How about visibility?
The visibility on the machine is real good. You can see in all areas around you, in front, behind, and on both sides. You got good visibility of your winch. You got good visibility of the top of your blade, the bottom of it, and you can also see what your tracks are going in and around. The blade needs to be a little bit longer on the machine because when you're in rocky type material, the tracks are just about as wide as the blade, and when you're pushing loose dirt, the rocks will roll back and go under your tracks on it.
What do you think of the power of the unit, the horsepower to weight?
The horsepower on the machine is good, and the weight suits the machine good. I like the way the weight design is set up on it. It needs a little more power with that type of transmission because it feels a little weak to me and it's slow. But other than that, it's all right.
Here you're doing primarily heavy work. For this application, for what you're doing with that machine, do you think the size is about right? Or?
The type of work that I do, this machine fits in good in a lot of situations. We got times that we can use it where we can't use our other machines, like the 550 is a little bit too small, and we have 750s that are a little bit too big. And John Deere has needed a machine this size for a long time. It fits in just in between the size that they had before. But it works real well for its size.
Just a few more questions, Virgil. You mentioned a little bit about the blade design. Of course, we did change the blade design on the back. We got away from the slides and so forth. Any comments on that?
On the blade itself, the only thing that I can see needs to be redone is the knuckle joints. I don't like those knuckle joints. They seem to be weak on the machine. And the top part of the knuckle joint, I wouldn't have one like that myself because that's a disadvantage to the machine. They either need to make it one way or the other to satisfy the customer, I guess. And the corner bits on the blade, they need to be extended out on the bottom part of it another 2 or 3 inches because the side of your blade wears as much as your corner bits on the blade.
You mentioned the knuckle joint. You got 2 pitch positions. You tilt the blade forward or back. You've been running it pitched back most of the time, I believe. Any comment on changing that? Is that something you'd use?
The pitch on the machine, I would prefer it pitched back because it will cut and carry dirt a lot better than it does when it's pitched forward. But in a lot of situations, you have to pitch the blade forward in order to work the machine the way it's designed. But in either situation, I can handle the machine with it pitched forward or backward, either one, but I wouldn't want it with the option on it like it's got now.
Okay, we have, of course, with the new powertrain, we have a new transverse case at the back, and we have a new main frame for the tractor itself. We've gotten away from the side frames you're familiar with in the 450C, I believe. Do you have any comment on that design?
The undercarriage design on it seems to be good. The rollers are not heavy enough on the bottom of it, I don't believe. We've had trouble with this machine here. The rollers are bad under it now, and it's only got something like 100 hours on it. And the rollers, the seals are already busted out of the rollers, and it needs a heavier set of undercarriage under it. Maybe not the undercarriage itself, just the roller alone needs to be a little heavier. The tracks are good on the machine. They're wide enough, they're long enough, and you get good ground capacity out of it. It climbs good. You can't ask for any better ground pressure on the machine. It does real good. Like I said, just the rollers are not heavy enough in front. It needs a double roller on top where it only has a single now. There's too much empty space up there, and it would cause your top roller the bearings in it to wear fast, or your tracks, when you get a lot of loose motion in your track on top, cause your pin and bushings to wear quicker. But other than that, I like the redesign on the front idler where it is solid in the center now instead of the two flanges like the older type machines have. And other than that, it seems to be fine.
How about just the overall appearance of the machine?
The overall appearance of the machine I like real well. It's John Deere, and that's all there is that you can really say about it. If you go any other way, it won't be John Deere. Just the appearance of the machine is good, and I like the visibility. Everything about it's good. Just needs a little more power, and like I say, a few little nitpick items redone on the machine. It'll be in good shape.
Okay, any final, if you make a summary statement kind of to wrap up about the 650G, what would you say? Just your overall impression again.
If I would buy one of the machines, I would like to see some of the changes being made on it before I would want to put in money and invest in one of them, because there's a few items. It's not a real serious item, but just some little items that need to be redesigned on it. As your T-handle on your blade control, I would prefer the type that's a half T-handle, I call it. You've only got one part of it that sticks out, and then you got the straight stem. It's made something like the one on the D4H. And I run one of the D4Hs with a handle like that, and I like to feel the handle real well. And this T-handle is all right, but it's kind of hard to get used to if you've not run one of them. The other type would be better, to my knowledge.
Stop it for a second there. Your general impression of John Deere equipment. What's your old? Okay. Virgil, tell me a little bit about your dealership. What are some of the things, the Commonwealth, what are some of the things that you like about your John Deere dealer?
I've dealt with Commonwealth for the last 10 or 15 years, and we've had real good service with John Deere, and they seem to really work nice. And if we need parts, we always get them on time and when we need them. And they do a lot of things that you couldn't ask other people to do for you. And as far as the John Deere dealership that I'm in contact with, we have real good service. There's no complaint. I couldn't complain about somebody that's really been good to me in my area. I'm talking as a whole, not just one part, but the whole dealership has been real good to me.
So you feel like you feel special, do you?
I feel that I am one of Commonwealth's special customers, because I do all my business for Commonwealth. I don't do any outside business with any other John Deere dealers. And they've been, like I said, when you've got somebody that's good to you and bend over backward to help you, you don't you don't need to go anyplace else and look. So I'm satisfied. As a matter of fact, I'm tickled to death with Commonwealth and their performance. That they do everything in the world they can to help me in any way. And anytime, day or night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever, all I have to do is give them a call and they'll do anything they can do to help me at any time.
Okay. In a word or two, what do you think of when you hear the word John Deere?
Myself, I'm strictly a John Deere man. I've never fooled with any other equipment besides John Deere, and we've had good service out of them up to this point. And I couldn't complain about John Deere at all because they've been real good. We've made a living with John Deere tractors, and we're going to stay with them. That's what got us started, and I guess we'll be with them when we die because they've got us where we're at now.
Okay.
And
what words would you describe John Deere, General?
to my knowledge, John Deere is number one in their field. In any way you want to go about John Deere, they're number one.
Thank you, Virgil.
Bingo.
Hey, Ron, you want to tell me who you work for and what you've been doing for them most of the time?
I work for Fitzpatrick Contractors and run a board over, and then I'm a mechanic on them, work, change oil and stuff like that, and change all hoses and whatever tires up that ain't real major, I fix.
How long you been running dozers?
About 5 years.
You've been a primary operator on the 650G. What are your overall impressions of the 650G at this time?
With 650, I like the way it handles when you're going up backstacks and going around them. It ain't top heavy, which I thought it would be because of the way it looks, but it's not. So it handles good like that.
Stability's good?
Yeah, everything's good about that, except sometimes you get on a rock and you hit that big throttle and it messes you up sometimes, but everybody has to get used to that, just what you get used to.
Yeah, the ride of the machine?
Yeah, the ride, it rides better than the 450E, I think, or the 550. But sometimes you can be riding it and it don't seem that bad, and sometimes it seems that bad when you just wondering what kind of places you're in.
Now that you're used to it, you don't feel like you're sitting too high in it?
No, when I first got on, I thought I was sitting way up, but I've run it enough now, I'm used to it, and it don't seem that bad now. It rides good and handles good, everything about it does.
How you like the power shift transmission?
I like the way that is. It took me a while to get used to the power shift on it, the way the gears is. You'd be going off a hill backwards or forwards and go to kick it in another gear, and when you miss it, and he'd just keep rolling. It'd take you a few seconds to get your mind back on what you're doing because it kind of scares you a little bit. But I'm used to it now, and I hit the gears on every time I change them now, just like anything you get in, you got to get used to it.
You like the 4 speeds? Do you think that's enough?
Yeah, I like that 4-speed. I like that more than about anything. Because you can slow down or you can move out of the way if you need to get out of the way of something there. Rocks or something that are coming at you, you can get out of the way, or you can slow down and get real fine rest work at. It's good about that.
Do you like the decelerator with the power shift?
Yeah, I like that decelerator because you get in places you have to have it. Because if you're just sitting wide open all the time, you'd be going against it, jerking all the time. See how you can ease against it and ease out with it.
Okay, how about the blade? This has got the 6-way all-hydraulic blade on it. Any comments on the power of the blade? Or
the blade, I like it the way it does. I like 6-way blades on them because them other ones, you can't, when you need to do something, or you can't get out and change it every 2 or 3 times a day, and it's hard on you that way. That way, all you have to do is just turn your handle and go on and get it over with. And the other way, you have to stop the dozer and get off and redo it all.
how about the power of the blade, in particular the tilt power and angle power?
Well, the blade's got good power on the tilt and the angle jacks. It's got plenty of power. It's got more power than a 450 or 550, either one.
How about the blade control? It's got a T-bar on it as far as the response and also the tightness of the linkage. It isn't too sloppy for you?
No, I like the T-blade better than I do the two-handled ones, because the T-blade you can be going and you can need to turn your blade around and keep it still at the same time, which the other ones you got to let go of one to get hold of the other one to turn it around, and then you go up and down and makes big water waves in whatever you're doing. It's hard on you too at times. You be pushing something there and you know you want to tilt the blade, angle your blade and hold it still too, and you have to let go of one and do the other, but the T-handle, all you do is just hold it right there and twist it.
How about the operator's compartment, Ron? As far as operating comfort, visibility, some of the other controls in there?
Everything else seems all right to me. It just took me a while to get used to it. I like the way it's all set up because it's different than the 550s and stuff, and you've got to get used to it.
How about visibility, both to the blade and also back to your winch?
Yeah, you can see your winch good on it, and you can see your blade good on it. Because you ain't got nothing in front of you, you ain't got nothing behind you. Just wire behind you, and you just open in front and sides. The 450s and 550s, they got that tank right up next to the back, and you can't see your winch on, but that there you can see good out of that there.
How about the steering? This has got lever steer. the steering and the maneuverability of the machine?
The steering, it does all right sometimes, but it's just hard to pull, and you can't hardly pull it. It needs to be adjusted or something other like that.
Maneuverability of the machine, get around all right?
Yeah, the machine goes good. Wherever you want to put it, here to go.
How about the power? Just the power and size of the machine, the weight?
He could use a little more power, but not too much, because that dozer, he's got enough power almost, but he could use more, because you get in places you need more power.
How about the size, the weight of the machine?
The weight's about right on the machine. It's bounced right. You can go in where you want, and it won't rear up with you, it won't jump up with you. It'll just go and walk with you.
Just the overall appearance of the machine, what do you think of it?
I like the machine the way it is all over. Just need a few minor adjustments on it.
You like the way it looks, though, or you know?
Yeah, I like the way it looks. I didn't at first because it's odd, but as you get used to it, you like it. I like it better than I do any other ones.
Like the limb risers and the ROPS, you think that's all designed on?
Yeah, I like the limb risers on it because they knock the limbs and stuff off of you. The other ones is close, and if it rains or something other, the canopy on it, that now you can work in rain, and that now the other ones you get wet. That now is wide, and it knocks a lot of wind and a lot of rain and stuff off of you, and especially a lot of sun. And them limb risers, they knock the limbs out of your way, and it's got a longer way to hit you than it does on the other dozers.
You said you did some mechanic work on machines too?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the side frames then that we have on the old 450s?
Yeah, I welded a lot of those up.
Okay, what do you think of this new design, the new frame, the new transverse case?
I think that it would be a whole lot better the way it's set up. It looks like it's one solid piece of steel, not welded together like the other ones is. The other ones are square and that now is round. And I'd say it'll hold more than the others will.
Any comments on the undercarriage?
Everything's all right. It just needs some rollers on it. The heavier the rollers. The rollers ain't heavy enough under it.
Just to sum up, any statement you'd like to make about a 650G? Just again, your general impression of the machine.
Well, I like them. So I like the way to run and the way to handle. I'd rather run them as I would the 550 or the 750 or 450, either one. That's all I ever run. But I'd rather run the 650s run either one of them.
You heard what I asked for. Basically, if I said sky, you may say blue.
Yeah.
Right? What if I said, what do you think of when you think of John Deere? The word.
They've been good to us, and we can get anything we need. If they don't have it, we have it the next day. We get anything we need, and they don't run you around all over the place to get something. If you tell you they want to get it, they get it for you.
What impression do you have of John Deere in general? Somebody said to you, now, give me a 1 or 2 word answer. Describe John Deere in a word or two. What would you say? What words would you use?
They're good people, and I'd say that they got good equipment, the best equipment made, I believe.
Great. Anything else?
Take 2 Bruce Creek. As far as my knowledge, I like the way they see in here, that swivel one, better than they do any of it. Because that
Trying to get kind of a heavy blade load if you would, Ron. As heavy as you can handle, you know, with this, with this stuff. And then maybe on another passage you could use the blade tilt.
Get the meat.
Could you kind of simulate like you were trying to...
Like that, when you get on a rock, you can twist the blade or let it go one way or the other, and then you can go back with it. But the other one, you have to let go of this and reach where you get the other one and twist the blade. And the time you do that, your blade, you're going to be like it right there.
What do you think, Pat?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it that way.